Last night was a glorified shoot around as the Washington Wizards lose to the Dallas Mavericks 137 to 101. 8 Dallas Mavericks players score in double figures. So the question is, can this defense improve at all? I don't think so, but we'll see. Let's talk about it next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again. Your favorite podcast has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Wizards Daily Newsletter, a one-stop shop for the ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. And start your day with the all-new, free Locked On Wizards newsletter. Tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You start to see the big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and you get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, everybody. The Washington Wizards, good Lord. 8 Mavericks players score in double figures as the Washington Wizards get blown out at home, 137 to 101. So the question for you tonight, Abdullah, is can the defense improve? And what reasons do you think the defense is struggling so bad this year? Even though with the addition of Jonas Valanciunas and other players, it was supposed to be somewhat better.
I think a lot of it is just about effort. I mean, at the end of the day, all these guys are pros. And the fact that we brought in Valanciunas, we brought these guys in thinking that was going to make a difference, and still we're at the bottom. Obviously, the only way to go is up. But, I mean, clearly night in and night out. I mean, 137 points. No team in the NBA, unless you're scoring 150, is winning on a night like that. On a night where I was excited to see how Daniel Gafford come back. I know you're a good friend of you in DC. And just looking at Luka had a triple-double, Kyrie 25, Quentin Grimes with double figures. I mean, man, just come to DC, you'll guarantee 10-plus points. I mean, and again, it sucks because as Wizards fans, we don't want to knock on the team. We want to be positive, but if we're consistently saying something and it's just not being shown on our screens night in and night out, then what can we say?
Now, you hit the nail on the head, man, which is effort. Now, early in the year, you saw that, we talk a lot about culture, which is, Brian Keefe's mantra of playing hard, playing to win. We say it all the time. I say it 1,000 times. I'm pretty sure people are tired of hearing about it. But the thing is, you don't see that. You see a team that has losing fatigue, in my opinion. I mean, they're 2-18. And you have a lot of these vets, I believe they're ready to roll. I think the writing's on the wall for Kyle Kuzma. He knows that this team is pretty much being handed over to JP13 and Andy Blau because they're taking that next step in the rebuild. Jonas Valanciunas, he knew what it was coming in. He knew what the assignment was. Let's be real. He wanted to play mentor, which he's doing a good job. He's playing quality basketball that keep that trade value up, but he knew what it was coming in. Same thing with Brogdon. Brogdon knows that, he was going to be here past the deadline. I mean, they all know what it is. Now, will he be the hardest of the three to move? The injuries, continue to be an issue with him. So with a price tag of 22.5, man, that's going to be hard. Availability is your best ability. But, I mean, look at the Dallas Mavericks real quick. I mean, Kyrie Irving, 25 points, 10 for 16 from the field, did whatever he wanted on the perimeter, 3 for 5 from 3. I mean, Luka dropped a triple-double, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, both double figures with 11 and 10 points respectively. Daniel Gafford, we all know what he can do. A guy who's nasty in the paint, a guy who, he put on the show. He has some couple of nice dunks, man, where he reminded people what he could do with a Wizards uniform on. Like I said, I'm a big Gaff guy. Good to see him, definitely playing quality basketball in Dallas. But, we know what it is. This team is losing fatigue. Yeah, look, it's one thing to say that, look, we're ready for a rebuild. We're ready to be part of that. It's a totally different thing to go through it, right? It's kind of like boot camp. Everybody says, I can get through basic training. Then they get through this like, whoa. You got to go through the experience. It's all about the journey, man. And I'm saying right now, losing fatigue is taking an effect on this team. I'll say this, man. Shout out to my guy, Wule, man, Urban Sports Scene. That's my guy. There was this one moment during the game where it could have been a pitcher moment. And I kind of showed it to him, man, where it was a timeout. I believe it was in the fourth quarter. And Jordan Poole, man, he's on the other side of the court. Head down. You just tell he's just out of, man. Where a couple of players, I know Tristan Vucevic went over there and pat him on the back. But it's taking effect, man. Like I said, you come over from a team like Golden State where they're challenging for, the Western Conference crown to being the guy in DC where you joined his team first year rebuild. And then not only did he join a rebuilding team, he joined a team where he had his own struggles. So he's dealing with those struggles individually, and he's dealing with the team struggles. And it's a tough situation. It's tough for everybody. The fan base, I know everybody's like, whoa, because it's hard going through it. I'm ready for a rebuild, but it's not pleasant to go through. Let's be real. This is the growing pains we got to go through. And Dallas did whatever they wanted. I mean, to me, it's we all know there's going to be a talent gap, AP. We all know that most teams in this league are going to be better because we're unproven. We just don't have enough star power. It is what it is. But you want to see effort. I mean, we got to get that culture back. Playing hard, playing to win. We've got to get the culture back because it's one thing to lose when there's a clear talent gap, but to get smoked like that, I mean, Cleveland, we got smoked to Cleveland in this game, and defense is the issue. I mean, you had Quentin Grimes out there putting in work. Matter of fact, you had Jaden Hardy, who played 5 minutes and still dropped 13 points, man.
I see Quentin Grimes posting on TikTok, and the fact that he dropped that, like, come on, man. What are we doing?
I mean, you got a guy who played literally 5 minutes and dropped 13 points. I mean, looking at the Wizards real quick. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon, good game. Still had, slight injury, 25 minutes, 16 points. Good game of him. Bilal struggled again, 0 for 10 for the field, 0 for 5 from 3. We're going to talk about him in a little bit. Poole, underwhelming, 4 for 14. 8 assists is a really good number for Poole and 2 steals. So he still found ways to contribute. Marvin Bagley, give him more minutes. We're about to talk about him after the first ad break. Give him more minutes. When they give him minutes, he produces. 24 minutes, 16 points, 8 rebounds. Come on now. 7 for 11 for the field, 2 for 3 from 3. Come on now. I mean, Alex Sarr, 8 rebounds, definitely encouraging, even though, 2 blocks, 1 steal, but I definitely think he needs to learn how to be more offensively productive in the paint as opposed to just from the perimeter. And then looking at the bench, Bub Carrington, 3 for 9 for 3 with 15 points. Good showing from him. So, I mean, there was glimpses, man, but I kind of said this on the newsletter. I said, yeah, there was bright moments, man, but it's kind of like saying, man, that lunch, man, was good on the Titanic. I mean, it's kind of like, we'll take the bright moments, but we still, overall as a team, struggle. We gave up the paint again. Rebounding continues to be an issue. So we've got to get back to that culture because I see a couple comments, man. We're going to get into comments, but they're really good points, which is you want to instill an atmosphere where you hold fast to that culture of playing hard and playing to win. I mean, getting smoked like that just and that's what I'm saying. They have to go ahead and move these vets because I think the vets they're mentally checked out. They're losing fatigue. It's hard being on the 2-18 team. I mean, it's not easy especially when you're a guy like Valanciunas, who's played in successful teams in New Orleans, successful teams in Memphis, successful teams in Toronto, which he was a thorn in our side in the playoffs in the John Wall era. So this is a guy that's very familiar with, DC when we have a really good team in DC. So same thing with Malcolm Brogdon, Boston Celtics, the list goes on. And Jordan Poole, again, came from an atmosphere where they were challenging for a playoff spot every year. And going from a 6-man role to being the guy in DC, that's a hard just hard change. And same thing, Kuz, the Lakers. Lakers is a team where they didn't ever really rebuild. They kind of retool. Yes, you had the Smush Parker years, but still, they're not going to rebuild for long. So that's an atmosphere where they definitely command the best out of their players. So, I'm going to ask you this real quick. Do you think at this point that the championship pedigree and the experience that Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole has had sitting behind Steph Curry and LeBron James, you think that'll have a factor with them kind of being a voice in the locker room and trying to help these young guys out? Because it's got to be hard to be a young player right now going through this.
I think, like you mentioned, I think it's just the vets are just checked out. Like you said, the writing's on the wall. I think the writing's on the floor. The writing's all around you for Kuz, Valanciunas, Brogdon. Whether or not they get anything out of him, those guys can just tell they just don't want to be in DC. When you're 2-18, it's hard to go into every game thinking that you have a chance to win when it's just like 9-9. It's not the fact that you're losing but you're losing in an embarrassing style. Like, again, that's one thing in sports. Losing, okay, like you mentioned, talent gap. It is what it is at the end of the day. But when the effort's not there, the rebounding's not there, what can you say? Like, if you were a vet that's used to winning, like you mentioned with those guys, why would you want to be on a team like DC where it's supposed to be a bright future? As of right now, there's no sudden urgency to improve in any type of way.
No, I agree 100%, man. Like, looking at Jonas Valanciunas, he was a guy who knew who he was getting himself into. He knew what it was. Will Dawkins was able to kind of grab him from the Lakers or the Knicks just in time, got him on a really cheap contract, so they're going to be able to move him. He knows what the assignment is. So, but like I said, I think everybody knows. That was a question I asked Brian Keefe last night, man. I said, look, it's no secret. We're in a rebuild. How do you keep these guys motivated? And it's just like, he's a guy who's a very positive guy. I'll say that about Brian Keefe. Very positive guy. A guy that, really tries to look at the positives. It's a hard situation to look at the positives, but I'll say that about him. And that's one thing I kind of liked about, Brian Keefe as a head coach is that Yeah, people get on him about certain things, but you got to remember that he's a first time head coach. He's a guy who's been assistant coach. He's been that developmental coach who kind of focuses on players, help them develop. But being head coach is different. You're running a staff. There's other factors. Especially being a head coach where you have to showcase vets, and then you still have to find playing time to develop young talent, and that's not easy assignment, man. So kind of like Will Dawkins, I think it's way too early to judge him. Because I think that definitely thin out the herd a little bit. Move these vets, turn it, formally make it a youth movement and hand it over to Brian Keefe, who's that developmental head coach, and go from there. So we're going to talk about Marvin Bagley III next and Alex Sarr. Should he play more in the paint? But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash that can be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Good Lord. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of the high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. That is it. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhoodgold.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhoodgold.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Don't forget that. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. All right, let's get back into this thing, man. So, all right, kind of gonna leave that game in the dust, man. So, hopefully, you gotta look forward because look, tomorrow night we've got Denver. I will definitely be there, also covering the game, and I'll be there up front and present, man, to cover the game for you guys. So, that's not going to be an easy game. No rest for the weary. Then after that, you got another tough assignment. So, let's talk about Marvin Bagley III real quick. I'm in favor of that. I think that you give him more minutes. I think he's shown that he could be productive, when you give him the minutes. He's found a home here in DC. I've been a big fan of him going back to Duke. I think he's a guy who didn't have the best situation in Sacramento. He didn't have the best situation in Detroit. And you showed that with the proper, supporting cast, with the proper coaching staff, we got a developmental coaching staff. Look, he's still young. I mean, he's 25 years old. He's still young. It feels like he's been in the league forever. So here's my question for you. How many minutes do you want to see them give Marvin Bagley III going forward, especially after the second half or after the trade deadline? And do you think that he is definitely a guy where they need to consider signing him to an extension after the season?
Definitely, if they see more of 16 to 8 a night. I mean, you said a number. I would as many as we can play 24 that against the Mavs. I mean, 30 would be nice. Again, once JV is gone, it'll be interesting to see the lineup and how much minutes he will get. But again, you mentioned Marvin Bagley, 25 years old, wasn't the best situation in Sacramento. And a lot of it maybe had to do with the fact mentally that he was picked over Luka Doncic. And Luka Doncic, I mean, don't get me wrong, superstar. But again, it probably messed with his head. And now he's found a home in DC. And I really want him to be a Wizard for the rest of his career. I really see the potential there. Again, was a big fan of him at Duke. So once JV is gone, that's a guy that I know everyone's talking about. Bilal when Kuz is gone, but Marvin Bagley and even Alex Sarr a little bit, but Marvin Bagley is the sleeper guy where I'm like, okay, let's see what he can do once Valanciunas is gone.
Yeah, they need to stop playing, man. Get this man 25 minutes a night. I mean, he's shown that he can be productive here in DC. The biggest thing with him and the biggest knock is, or the narrative with Marvin Bagley III is low motor guy. A guy doesn't really put that much effort. I haven't seen that here in DC. I've seen a guy who puts maximum effort. Now, every player takes plays off. I'm not going to expect a guy, let's be real. Let's be 100 about this. Every player takes plays off. But he's a guy who's shown that he's, he wants to improve. 25 years old, he's a guy that he can still be molded. I mean, he's a guy I believe was the best. I don't have it in front of me, but wasn't he like the best high school player in the country one year?
I think so. Yeah, at one point.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who has star appeal to the point where I'm not saying he's going to be a star. Hold on. Don't get on me now. But I'm saying he's a guy who is good enough to be the best high school player in the country. So he's got, potential where he could be a highly productive player if you use him to his best, his best attributes, which is he's a 3-level scorer. He's a guy who's very versatile. He plays center. He can play power forward. And look, in the second half of the season, with him and Sarr in the front court, I think you start him. Now, with Keyshawn George, I'm saying this. They did play him at the 4, but he's a guy, if you look at him, he has guard skills. I think you utilize Keyshawn George for his guard skills, put him on the second unit, let him be that microwave scorer off the second unit, maybe even have him, be a secondary ball handler with looking at who to potentially go with in the second half, probably gonna be Jared Butler. But let him be a playmaker. He's a guy who is 6'8", who shown he wants to be a playmaker. I see, and he said it himself at media day that he sees himself as a guard, at least a small forward. So put Marvin Bags at the 4. In tandem with Alex Sarr. You're already gonna have Bilal at the 3, and you're probably looking at Jordan Poole and Bob Carrington in the same backcourt. Let them roll. I mean, there's no expectations. We know that as bad as it is now, if it's even possible, it's going to be worse in the second half. I mean, the youth movement, there's going to be a lot of mistakes, a lot of turnovers, a lot of growing pains, but that's what we want. We want to finally see the young prospects get that extended playing time. Now, looking forward, obviously we got to withstand so much of the cap, and that's what I'm saying, re-sign them. Sign them to a deal that's nothing where we can, help us spend so much of our salary cap so we can fit that part of the CBA. You already got a guy who's young, who has proven that he can play at a high level. He's a guy that doesn't need to be a starter, doesn't need to be a star. He can come off the bench, he can start. I mean, he's the perfect versatile player that I think that you consider keeping him here long term. So, real quick, we already talked about him, Alex Sarr. He's a guy that we know what he can do. He can stretch the floor. Can he be a little dependent on that jump shot? Absolutely. I'm a guy that, look, we know that he can stretch the floor. If you have that shot, you take it, especially if it's wide open. But I firmly believe, and I'm gonna get your kind of opinion on it real quick. They got to start playing him in the paint a little bit. Like, interior defense is an issue. He has been doing good rebounding, but I believe he could definitely be a 10 rebound guy if he gets there and gets in the paint. We know that, look, he needs muscle, he needs more aggression, but he's got to start playing with his back to the basket inside. Definitely get those points inside. We see him with the mid-range, but he's too dependent on a jump shot. What are you thinking, AB?
B, I'm telling you, if you're a 7 foot in the NBA, if you don't put your back behind the basket, man, you got the size. I mean, again, young guy, but at the end of the day, obviously, having a jump shot, it's a plus in today's day and age as a big man in the NBA. But again, like, play old school basketball, back that man down. You're 7 foot, man. I mean, again, young guy, and he's going to learn. He's going to put on muscle. I just don't want to see, especially with after the trade deadline, when we see some of the guys going, his playing time and usage will go up. I don't want to see him settle for these jump shots when clearly he can be a beast in the paint.
No, I agree 100%. I mean, he's got to learn to be a center. I mean, that's really a testament to the different factors. People don't realize that it used to be, I'm an old head, man. When I was coming up, you went to college. And you had your one and dones, and you had your high school guys, but then they cut that off and they made it to where you had to go to college for 1 year and that whole mess. But there was only a couple options to get to the league. You were high school at one point, or you went to college, whether it's 1 year or 3 years or whatever. But now you have the avenue of foreign leagues. You have all these, you have the G League Ignite, which I believe is not even thinking is between that, or you have a few of those, kind of the teams where they focus on you and developing you, and there's good examples, especially when you look at Serbian players, and players in Slovenia. If you look at Luka and players like that, man. But then the Australian League, nothing against the league in Australia, man. But you don't see a lot of you see guys that come to the league, no doubt. But you don't see stars like you do coming out of the Balkans, with Luka and Jokic, and you know what I mean. Like you don't see stars coming out of the Australian League, and it's a league where they just let him kind of bring the ball up and be that small forward at 7'1", and you're not helping this guy out, because if you look at development, he's kind of behind, to be honest with you. He's a guy that was allowed to do whatever you wanted, bring the ball up and be that small forward who's 7'1", and they didn't look at it like, look, he's going to the league. We got to prepare him for what he's going to do in the league, which is, yeah, he can spread the floor, but look, Jokic still goes in the paint. Like, you could be a guy that spreads this floor, but Miles Turner in Indiana can hit the 3-point shot in the mid-range, but he still goes in the paint. Like, he's got to get in the paint. You're 7'1". You are the center, because he's not power forward right now, man. And I don't think he ever will be, because the thing is, look at how they attack him. They put a smaller, more athletic power forward on him, and they blow by him. He doesn't have the lateral speed to roll with these faster and more agile and athletic power forwards. He doesn't. He's a center. He's 7'1", and that's where he fits best. He has rim protection potential, but he's got to stop. I mean, he's got to show some aggression. He's got to get. I mean, yeah, the rebound numbers are better than he had in Australia, but look, with his athleticism, I expect 10 rebounds. To be honest with you, that's my expectations in the second half. Is he's got to get in the paint. He should be in the paint more in the perimeter. Like, he's automatic. I watched it last night, in person. I mean, he goes right on the perimeter every time. I mean, every time he's trying to be a shooter. And it's like, dude, get in there and box out and get a rebound. Go in there and try to extend the possessions. Like, get in there, you know what I mean? Become a weapon in the paint. You're expected to shoot a jump shot every time. No, you're 7'1". That ship has sailed. Maybe in the AAU or whatever they have back home, they let you do that. But no, this is the NBA. You're 7'1". You need to be a center. And the fact of the matter is, you need to be in the paint, putting this work, man. So I'm with you. He needs to get in there and start working with, playing with his back to the basket, man.
If I were to ask,
counter.
how much of it do you think Coach Keefe tells him in his ear that, like, it's time to put your head down and go locomotive? And how much of it do you think Sarr is just like, maybe it's just I can do my own thing? I was wondering about that because he definitely, if us fans were saying it, obviously Coach Keefe was saying it as well.
Oh, absolutely. You imagine, because Coach Keefe is a defensive-minded coach. And, Will Dawkins, he knows that he's trying to build this team in the mold of the modern-day NBA, which is, at times you have a small lineup. You're 7'1", look, you have the perfect situation in center. You have a guy who's 7'1", can protect the paint, shoot 3-point shot, and he can run in transition. But, you absolutely, you have to be able to work in the paint. There's no center in the league where they just sit on the perimeter. It's not happening because you're exposing your team. You have to get in the paint and you got to be productive in the paint. And he's got to pack on muscle, 5 to 10 pounds at a minimum, man, in my opinion. But you still want him light enough to where he can roll in transition. So, I think that, look, you got the right head coach to develop him and mold him. We got number time. I think that the next couple of years, you're going to see significant progression because I still think there's a chance that Bilal's going to break out. And I think a lot of that has to do with Brian Keefe. So give him the reins with Alex Sarr, especially in the second half, when a lot of these vets, they can prioritize, starting a lot of these young guys and definitely, having them build that chemistry. Because look, like I said, 2025 is the finishing touches. Cooper Flagg, man, there's a real possibility he could be in DC. I said about Alex Sarr. I called that one. A lot of people said, we'll see. But I called Alex Sarr, man. I said, look, there's a real chance he comes to the district. And when you put him and Cooper Flagg in the same front court, that's magic. But then, I say it all the time, you have to plan if you don't get that number one pick because there's only a 14% chance or a 14.5% chance you get that first round pick. Dylan Harper, he fits. Ace Bailey, he's best player available after Cooper Flagg. And then, I think that you get creative in the trade market. Kuminga, I'm not saying it's Kuminga or bust, but look, they did not work out a long-term deal. And, he's got to be real with his situation. He ain't going to get a max contract. I think if he's realistic and looks at it like, look, they have a top 3 pick next year. Pretty much guaranteed. You got a young team that's up and coming. You got Bilal, you got Alex Sarr. A player like Kuminga, man, this would not be a bad spot for him. And Moses Moody, another guy like that. There's young talent where Walker Kessler's up. Now, if it wasn't for the fact that Alex Sarr, as far as dealing with the smaller power forwards, I'd say go out there and get Walker Kessler, even though they're asking for 2 first-round picks. Now, Kyle Kuzma is a guy who fits in Utah. He went to college at Utah, so we'll see on that front. So. All right, man, we're going to get into comments for the night. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to check out the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get $100 million in the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live, play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join the day. You can start at $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That is it. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, man, let's get in the comments, and we'll start this Friday night off like we always do. Like I said, guys, I definitely appreciate you guys waiting until today for me to go live. I was, again, covering the game last night and wanted to get questions in. I talked to Brian Keefe. There was kind of a time difference between Brian Keefe and the players, so I wasn't there for Bub and Marvin Bagley, but I would definitely catch them on the flip, man, and definitely being there for the players tomorrow night at the Nuggets game, man. But I was able to talk to head coach Brian Keefe, and like I said, I was kind of debating what I wanted to say to him because that's a tough one, man. That is a tough one. So let's get into comments. And like I said, guys, we try to keep it the show around 30 to 35 minutes. So again, you guys know me. I'm very tempted to answer every question, but I'm gonna have to be a little more selective, man. Because like I said, we're gonna have to shorten down the shows from 45 minutes. So let's see. Link starts it off. It says that picture of you in the thumbnail is all of our reactions. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I was trying to capture the moment for real, man. And brings up another good comment. It says, not many fans can say they were here from the low point. Man, my type of is worse than our defense right now. Like, don't worry about it, man. It's all good. We understand. The defense is bad right now. And, look, if you keep the faith, man, because I'm saying right now, there's going to come a time where we're going to win that last game of the season. Like I said, I know people get on me and say, like, man, come on, B. Maybe you're showing a little too much faith in this front office. But like I said, I'm trying to give them the chance. You know what I mean? Because like I said, being a long time Wizards fan, I don't remember. I was a kid during the Howard years. I was in middle school, so I was, thinking about middle school stuff. So I wasn't, I was a fan, but I wasn't. It was MJ the years, man. So like, you already know what it was. But Gilbert Arenas years, I was in the military, but I was still able to catch those years. And Ernie Grunfeld, come on. I mean, he missed some picks. He traded away first round picks. And looking at Tommy Shepard, Tommy Shepard was a slight upgrade over Ernie Grunfeld, even though he gave Bradley Beal probably the worst contract in NBA history. Yeah. So, Ernie just his drafting, he chose players that needed to be developed, and he needed immediate impact guys. And that was his flaw as far as drafting. So, I mean, we got to give him credit. At least we know that Will Dawkins is a better GM than the last two. I'm willing to give him a chance. Yes, I'm willing to show that support, man. Like I said, like anything in life, man, you want to show people that respect until they give you a reason not to, right? And to me, it's like you want to judge them when it's the right time to judge them. I don't think it's the time for that yet. I think it's too early in the process to really judge his front office, man. You're gonna have your hits and misses. I think they've had a lot more hits than misses. Lord have mercy. A lot more hits than misses, man. So give him the chance. Like same thing with Brian Keefe. Give him that chance. Let's see. Locked on Law. What's up? How you doing tonight? It says worst 3-point shooting team in the league. Yeah, we were definitely in the conversation. Worst defensive team in the league. Yep, hard to win games, hard to keep buying into the process. All they are they're developing bad habits. Yeah, I mean, I agree on the bad habits. Now, I'm still with the process, but I get it why you wouldn't be upset. It's hard, man. It ain't for the faint of heart, but I agree with developing bad habits. You gotta get back to that culture, man, which is playing hard, playing to win. I mean, they seem defeated. The young guys are ready to play. You can tell the young guys are ready to go. So, I mean, is that the case, AB? I mean, the young guys ready to roll, and then the vets are ready to kind of roll too.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. It's definitely there. You can see it, like you mentioned, Jordan Poole's face. I really want to see how these young guys really do without those vets taking up their those offensive usage, and even defensively, the energy will effort really be a difference. I think it will be. Now, will it be a major difference? I don't know, but we'll see. I feel like there'll be more juice there.
Yeah, I agree, man. The young guys know what it is. They know where the direction's going. I mean, nobody's foreign to what's going on here. You know what I mean? Like that's why that's the coach. I said it's not a secret, man. Like everybody knows we're year two in the rebuild. The whole league knows. I mean, the whole world knows. It is what it is. I mean, the vets are ready to get out of here. The young guys are ready to put in work. So, just get to the deadline. Because look, we have less than 10 days till December 15th, which means Jonas Valanciunas could be moved. So we're getting closer and closer to that time because the trade deadline is February. So look, we're getting closer. Like I said, time's flying, man. Before you know, it's gonna be the new year and you're gonna be in January. So you're gonna start to see moves because there's a lot of moves. I mean, you got news, with Zion and New Orleans. It's just a lot of moves to be made this season, man. It's gonna be a lot of moving pieces at the deadline, in my opinion. Bucket Getter, how you doing tonight? Bagley should have been playing from the jump. Yeah, give him more minutes. I'm with you on that. Give that man more minutes. Let's see. Let's get through this, man. Armand, my guy, Armand says, Brandon, discussion topic for you. Might be interesting to look at the other worst teams in NBA history and see how they compare. I also think they may set the new record for losses. That's definitely intriguing. Appreciate you, man. We're definitely going to be in the conversation. Let's see. Locked on Law says the 2011 Bobcats was 7-59, and this team might beat that. They're definitely going to be in the conversation. I mean, we better try to get all the wins we can in the first half, man, because the second half is going to be, yes, sir. Joshua Cotton, how you doing tonight? I don't think I can watch all 82, but I definitely will listen to all 82 of Locked On Wizards podcast. Hey, appreciate you, man. Appreciate your love. Appreciate your respect. Definitely appreciate you taking all the time, taking time out of your life, man, to rock with your boy, man. Like I said, definitely appreciate you guys, man. Let's see. Like I said, I'd like to answer everybody's questions, but you guys short this thing up just a tad bit, y'all. So bear with me. Let's see. Like I said, a lot of you guys are echoing the same thing. I get it, man. I definitely get it. Hey, yo, 1, 2, 3. I like it, man. Number 35, Bag Man looked like a man on a mission. Let him cook. There was a section, man, because the media section I was at was 107, and then to my right there was a group of 15 to 20 college guys. They had his Bagley jersey up, and every time he did something, they were over there rolling. And I mean, that was pretty cool, man. I mean, it looks like he's definitely gaining a following in the fan base. And like I said, I've been a fan of him since Duke, fan of him in Sacktown, Fanahan and Motown, and I think he's found his spot in DC. And if the goal is to fulfill so much of your salary cap every year, I mean, sign him back. Because look, looking at salaries, Corey Kispert you could be on the move in the offseason, man. Like I said, he's a guy, Will Dawkins is putting his mark on this team, like every new GM does. He's going to prioritize his guys that he drafted, and we know what it is. So Marvin Bagley, in saying that, he was moved here by who? Will Dawkins. So he was a move that Will Dawkins made. So he sees something in Marvin Bagley. Like I said, I think this could be a good situation for him. Kevin Colbert says, I would like to see Johnny Davis play. I know he has improved. I know he has defense. See what he can do. What do we have to lose? Oh, man, I'll say this about Johnny. And I was talking to a few people about this last night. He's got some, speed to him. I mean, his shot looks nice. I mean, he looks good. I mean, he looks much improved. And look, yes, it's a proven year for him. But again, in the second half, give him some minutes to see what what does it hurt? Give him some minutes. See what he can do. If he earns it, look, bring him back. I mean, like I said, you don't have to get rid of everybody from the former regime. I've always been 50-50 on Corey Kispert. You keep a guy like Corey Kispert, but then I get if you flip him. Same thing with JP13. I like me some JP13, but here's the thing. We know what it is. We know where the direction the team is. So, that's the business. There's guys that I think that could be really good players here. But we know what it is. Will Dawkins, he's cooking with grease, man. If he can find some value. Like Denny was moved. Most situations, especially if you're in rebuild, you don't see Denny go anywhere. But he found the right deal, and like I said, it was a hate-love type of trade. I wasn't in favor, but it is what it is. Bub, I think Bub's gonna be a heck of a player in this league, man. Bucket Getter says JP, BC, Kuminga, Flag, Sarr, or JP. Oh man, I'm just gonna stop there. I like that. I like that combination, man. You're speaking my language, man. I like that. Because don't forget, Bilal can play the two, and once he figures that offense out, man. I'm presuming you put Kuminga at the 3, which he can play, and Flag. Oh, okay, man. Look, look. What do you think, AB? What do you think about those lineups, man?
I'm looking at Flag, man. I'm looking at my chops there, B. I'm telling you, once I think it was last year when it was Mount Vernon versus PVI. I don't know if you know PVI, and of course you know PVI. Oh my god! But when they played in that final, he was a man on a mission. I've always been a fan of him. Even the other day, he had 20 points in a big win with Duke. I think he's the guy, and obviously it would be nice to have pick 1 to get him. But Ace Bailey, he's been on a tear as a freshman too. So this is just it. Really, like next year, like this draft lottery, like I'm going to be sitting there watching the pregame of the pregame, and the pregame of the pregame of the pregame.
Whoa! All right. I'm with you, man. I think I'm excited because we have options to make this a really young and dangerous team, and it echoes a lot of teams from the past, man. We don't have the star appeal yet of Golden State, but Cleveland was that team where they started out through the draft. Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, man. Isaac Okoro. They built it through the draft, and I think the Cleveland is probably the closest. Oklahoma City and Cleveland, to me, echoes what the Wizards are trying to do. Because they both built through the draft. They got young talent that look. Jalen Williams, man, was a guy that a lot of teams slept on, and now he's playing good basketball in Oklahoma City, man. Looking at Cleveland, man, you're starting to see really what Darius Garland can do. Evan Mobley's a guy who can play the 5, best fits at the 4, in my opinion. But Isaac Okoro is starting to find that 3-point shot. And, they added that one piece, which was, Jared Allen bringing him over from Brooklyn and getting Donovan Mitchell to come over here, man. So, to me, those are the 2 best examples. We're getting in the right direction. It's going to take growing pains, man. So, let's see. Shook Biz, how you doing tonight, man? What's the rumor on Kuz and the Cavs trade? The Cavs are one of the teams that are definitely looking at Kyle Kuzma. And I put a trade out through the newsletter. So shout out to everybody that follows newsletter. I definitely recommend it. I write the article for the Wizards and a lot of good info, not only about the Wizards, but for stuff around the league. So it's free, guys. So, why not? I put in there that in any prospective trade, the best first round pick you can get from the Cavs is 2031. I know a lot of people don't like, 2031, but that's the type of, in 2031, that's the type of first round pick you're probably going to flip for a star player. By the point we get to 2031, that's going to be flipped for a star player. Let's be real. So you still need later picks because, you gain young talent through the draft early on, and then you use the later picks to, go get a Donovan Mitchell, to go get, that one player. So that, So that's kind of where I'm at. So I would ask for that pick, Isaac Okoro, and I'm trying to think of the other player.
Monty Bates.
Oh, I like you, Monty Bates. Okay, I like where your head's at. I like where your head's at. No, it was I just had it. I just thought about it, man. It was Isaac Okoro, and man, dude, yeah, it's Friday night, man. My mind is already. I'll think about it when I. Karis LeVert. Yeah, there you go, Karis LeVert.
I was a big fan of him in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, he can play, man. I mean, they're both young players. They, if you look at, they both fit the timeline. If you want to add nice young players, I mean, Isaac Okoro is a defensive minded guy who can definitely shoot from three, and same, so I think that would be a good move. So you guys let me know in the comment section what you think about that move. So got one more. I'm gonna do one more comment, guys. We're gonna call it ahead and call it a night. Locked on Law. I feel he is not a fan of the game last night. I definitely feel you, man. And Valor, you're gonna round it out tonight. We have no clear number one guy, and because we're the Wizards, we're probably not going to get a high enough pick to get number one in the draft. I get the skepticism, but keep the faith, man. Because look, there's a chance. There is a chance. Like I said, we were very close to Wembanyama. So and look at the record we had before that draft. So it's a thrown in there to a certain degree because you only get a 14% chance, but there is a chance because Cooper Flagg can reinvent this franchise, man, and be the face. Ace Bailey can be the guy, especially in tandem with Bilal and Alex Sarr. Come on. Dylan Harper in the same backcourt, Bub Carrington or JP13 or both going into the future. I think that is a good combo, man. That's a good backcourt. Three guys who could definitely be high-level guys. So, we have choices, man. We have choices. Oh, here we go. We're going to round out with this one because Dr. Law says one ball, a Washington Wizards story. Just go ahead and leave on that one, man. So, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. And again, guys, I definitely appreciate you guys rocking with me tonight. Rocking with me and my guy, AB. It's Friday night, so, the bourbon already giving me the slide eye, man. So I got to get into that. But, hey, we will be going live Sunday. I'm going to cover both tomorrow night's game and Sunday's game, back 2 games in like we did last year. So because I'm gonna try to cover the press conference for you guys after tomorrow night's game. So we're gonna go live on Sunday because we usually we usually roll on Sundays anyway. So we're gonna knock both games out. So let's take a look at this schedule real quick. Because like I said, I'll be up there tomorrow night for the Denver Nuggets game, and I'm gonna try to get into the press conference. So I will not be going live. And you guys go ahead and enjoy your Saturday, man, because we know what it is. All right, so bear with me, guys, while I wait on the Athletic to hit me up with the schedule. All right, so Sunday they play the Memphis Grizzlies. So we're going to recap tomorrow night's game, the Denver Nuggets game on Sunday, and the Memphis Grizzlies game. So definitely tune in on Sunday, man. You probably see my man AB over here. So we're going to go live and go over both of those games on Sunday. So you guys enjoy your weekend. All right, if you drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Definitely drink in the house, man. It's cheaper just to grab a bottle and go to the house, man. If you smoke, don't smoke and drive. You're just inviting the cops to pull you over, man. All right, so just, do it at home. Enjoy yourself. It's going to be cold, so there's no reason to go out the house anyways. So definitely smoke and drink at home and just enjoy the weekend, guys. And again, I will see you guys on Sunday night. So, all right, man. AB, I'll see you, man. And definitely appreciate everybody, man. Rock with your boy tonight. Hail to the Wizards and peace. See you guys next time.